Hello, today we will be painting Zephyra. We start by applying black primer over the entire surface. This helps the paint adhere better and provides a dark base for all those tiny spaces we cannot reach with the brush, keeping them dark as they would be in real life. We apply the base color for the skin using Choco brown. This will be our darkest skin tone. To build up our skin color, we cover the previous layer with Dwarven flesh. We now apply the first highlights, which will be the midtones of the skin, using a 50-50 mix of Dwarven flesh and basic skin tone. For the hair, we use a mix of 70% Warcry green and 30% white as the base layer. Our hair will be a desaturated green, so we use white to reduce the saturation. Using the same colors, but now in a 50-50 mix, we highlight the strands of hair to create volume, drawing attention to the face area when looking at the mini. Depending on how light we want the hair, we add more white to the mix and highlight by reducing the light areas. Each highlight we paint is smaller, leaving the previous colors as midtones and transitioning between them. For the inside of the cloak, we apply Amethyst blue as the base color. Using a 50-50 mix of Amethyst blue and violet red, we mark the highest folds of the cloak's interior. With violet red, we mark the final highlights. Instead of highlighting, we are giving a reddish tone to the amethyst blue applied initially. For the cloak, hat, and leather elements, we apply flat brown as the base color. We now cover the previously painted surface using Komodo khaki. Using a 50-50 mix of Komodo khaki and Parchment, we start highlighting the cloak, applying short brush stroke to add fabric texture and avoid monotonous texture across the mini. With a mix of 30% Komodo khaki and 70% Parchment, we mark the highlights, focusing on the edges of the folds. Using Choco brown, we paint the base color of the gloves and boots. Remember, we also use this color for the initial skin tone. Using the same paints across the mini helps keep the color palette cohesive, as long as the colors make sense, of course. We now apply the first highlights with flat brown, illuminating the outer profiles. We enhance the highlights with Quicksand brown for the edge highlights. And now let's move directly to the metallic parts of the mini. For these metallic elements, we will start with brass as the base color. Using shiny gold, we apply small light points to the armor. Even though we're using metallic paints, using different ones to brighten the light areas helps create a more worked and attractive metal effect. For the base, let's start by priming it black, and then we will apply flat brown as the base color for the wood. We now apply a wash of Wyldwood contrast to emphasize the shadows. Using the dry brush technique, we apply Quicksand brown to highlight the edges of the wood. Be very careful in this step, as dry brushing can leave dusty results, which we obviously want to avoid as much as possible. The key is a very dry brush and a lot of patience. Don't try to rush this step. Now, let's use Amethyst blue to paint the pentagram, followed by a mix of 70% Amethyst blue and 30% wolf gray to paint the highlights of the pentagram. And with that, we have a fantastic miniature ready for the gaming table. This collection of witches is incredible, so don't miss out on the other painting guides we have for these witches. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next painting video.